Many thanks to Job, DayZ Podcast, Taggy's Tag West, Pandemonium and Lion Lost for making this video possible. Assault rifles are among the best weapons in DayZ, but with how many there are now, the meta has changed and so have the numbers behind the scenes. So in this video I'm going to give all the assault rifles a score based on their stats across these 6 categories to statistically find the best assault rifle in DayZ. If you include the LAR in the assault rifle category, there are 11 assault rifles in DayZ, and if you consider that the armor-piercing ammo type for the ASVAL is technically 2 different weapons, that makes 12 different varieties. Of these 12, many consider the LAR or the M4 to be best, but many other assault rifles in DayZ are just as good, if not better, because as a spoiler for this video, neither the LAR or the M4 are the best for close or long-range combat in DayZ. To prove my utterly blasphemous claim, let's first take a look at the damage drop-off of all 12 assault rifles. The LAR is on top for damage drop-off by a large margin in fact, and it retains its damage over distance, making it the best for single-shot damage over range, with the M16, FAMAS and AUG AX all in joint second place. Now it's not fair to only compare the damage over range of a weapon because these are frickin' assault rifles after all, not sniper rifles, so here is a chart that demonstrates the burst damage of each of these weapons. This chart alone shows which weapon is best in very close quarters combat, which is basically damage per second, not including reloads, not including mag sizes. The FAMAS is in first, which is 11% more damage than the M4, followed by the LAR, with most others being roughly the same. However, using just burst damage isn't really enough to determine the best AR for damage, as ammo capacity and reload times are very important in DayZ, so here is a chart displaying the sustained damage of all assault rifles. So this diagonal line represents a weapon when it's firing, whereas this horizontal line is the weapon reloading. Based on this info, we can get the average damage an assault rifle can output per second, including reloads, including mag sizes, which is very useful for raiding, with the M4 way out in front with its RPM and large mag size. In second though, to my surprise, is the M16, I guess due to its mag size and its large amount of damage, followed by the AUG AX, and again to my surprise, the 4th best AR to raid with is the KAM, probably because of that drum mag. By combining ranged damage, burst damage, and the sustained damage charts we just looked at, we can get a great overall picture of which AR outputs the most damage in DayZ. So like in Mario Kart, each assault rifle gets points for how well it places in each of these 3 different damage categories, which gives us a chart that looks like this, showing us the best assault rifles for damage in DayZ. Looking at this info using a different method, we can see that these 5 assault rifles are the go-to assault rifles for damage in DayZ, but damage is not the only useful stat. Starting with the base range each weapon has without any attachments at all in meters, the AUG A1 is way out in front at 600 meters because it comes with a fixed optic as standard. The LAR is in second place at 500 meters, but not due to its bullet speed, it's because it can zero up to 600 meters without attachments. With attachments, however, the story changes and the AUG AX is the best assault rifle at a huge 800 meters because of its increased accuracy. The slightly lower accuracy ARs are all the same because at this range, it's not how far you can zero that matters, but the accuracy stat on the weapon. Another consideration at this range is bullet speed, and that's exactly why the ASVAL variants are at 600 meters. The bullets drop in too steeply from above to reliably hit targets at around 700 meters. Speaking of which, we move on to range capability, which considers the bullet speed at its maximum range, as the time it takes for your bullet to travel to your target is very important against moving targets. So the best assault rifles against moving targets are the AUG AX, which is in front again for this, and the AK-74 surprisingly takes second, due to its high bullet speed I guess, and the LAR coming in third due to its low friction on the powerful 308 rounds it uses. Again, like damage, we're going to condense these 3 charts to get an average of how good an assault rifle is over range, showing the AUG AX as the best assault rifle in DayZ for shooting at a range, with all but the LAR lagging behind quite a lot. Control is just the base recoil multiplied by the weapon's RPM, and by base recoil I mean the recoil of a weapon as it spawns but with a magazine inside it. For example, the M4 spawns with plastic attachments and the AKM spawns with light coloured wooden ones. The lower the number here, the better, so the AKM is the best because it spawns with the best recoil reducing attachments, reducing recoil by 65% as standard. The 74U has the highest recoil though because its base recoil is based on all of the AK weapons. All of the AK weapons have the exact same recoil, it's just attachments that reduce recoil, but because the 74U doesn't allow a handguard, that means it has more recoil than the other AKs. I take these numbers with a grain of salt because I haven't fully discovered how recoil works in DayZ yet, but nonetheless it is a very important stat for assault rifles. Not so important though is stealth, with the ASVAL of course dominating here while the others are all roughly the same. The AKM is third because it has a slow bullet speed, which means it loses its weapon crack sound sooner, and the LAR is the loudest because it can be heard up to 3,000 meters away, where all the other unsuppressed weapons are 2,600 meters. All of these weapons can be suppressed, but remember that weapon cracks cannot be suppressed, so this chart will look very similar even if all of them were suppressed. Again, mobility isn't very important, but it does allow us to see which weapons are best for carrying around and most useful for tight CQB areas where length matters. The final category to rank assault rifles on is rarity, with the lower the number here meaning the weapon is harder to find, with the number here representing the average number of weapons that you can find on a vanilla server. In a game like DayZ, rarity should be considered in the overall score of a weapon because, as you can see here, you will find 9 M16s before you will find 1 M4. Which assault rifle is best is heavily determined by the situation that you're currently in. With that said, in close quarters, damage is the most important stat, or damage per second, so the FAMAS is the best assault rifle for that, but you can't go wrong with these 5 either for CQB. At a range though, a clear winner is presented to us in the form of an AUG AX taking the top spot here, but the LAR is not far behind. Now you may argue that the LAR can do more damage over range, but between 200 to 600 meters, both of these guns will require 2 shots to kill a player, so damage doesn't really mean much there. Now if you don't want to carry multiple weapons and simply want the best assault rifle over all the ranges, we can combine the final damage chart with the final range chart, which again displays that the AUG AX is way out in front. Which means for damage and range only, the AUG AX is officially, statistically, the best assault rifle in DayZ. However, if we consider control, stealth, mobility and rarity and then turn these into one stat which we conveniently call convenience, we get to see a more inclusive look at how damage, range and convenience all play a part in how good an assault rifle is in DayZ. By combining all 3 of these categories together into one overall stat, you get this chart again placing the AUG AX comfortably in the pole position. Because of this, from now on I would consider the AUG AX to be the king of assault rifles in DayZ. I was not expecting it to be statistically this much better than the LAR or the M4, and if anybody disputes that, show them this video and show them that statistically the AUG AX is the best. If you want to see me do a similar video for sniper rifles, leave a like and let me know which is your favourite assault rifle below, because that's a very, very important stat too, along with any criticisms that you may have for the methods that I've used. And finally, if you were to take anything away from this video, it would be this chart here showing just damage and range, because I believe it best represents the performance of assault rifles in DayZ. Thank you very much for watching and have a good day.